Our next championship case today is about the 2015 and the 2019 Cup Series champion Kyle Busch, the only driver in the history of the elimination format to win the Cup Series title multiple times. That could play to his advantage since he knows how to do it. But anyways, going to talk his 2022 season, going to talk about his chances to win the championship and give a championship case for him. Kyle Busch has one win on the season. It came back in April at the Bristol Dirt Race, of course, when Tyler Reddick and Chase Briscoe crashed out of the lead. But yes, Kyle Busch, he does have a win. He is 11th on the playoff grid. He has 10 playoff points, a win, and then he also has 2 stage wins. He has 6 top 5s and 13 top 10s, so a decent season. You know, the top 10s are good, but of course he had that long streak in the summer of 8 straight races without a top 10, so that was a little bit of a struggle, but hopefully they got that 2022 struggle session over, and they don't have that in the playoffs, because if they do, they're going to have some problems. But yes, let's look at the playoff schedule and talk about his chances. So Darlington, of course, is the first race, and Kyle Busch, he has won at Darlington before, but it seems like he's had bad luck. I think he's crashed out the last couple of times. I think Christopher Bell was the only Toyota in the top 10 at Darlington in the spring, so it's a little bit of a concern, but I still think Kyle Busch should be able to run top 10 in that race. As for Kansas, Toyota was so strong in the spring, 3 or 4 cars in the top 5, all of them in the top 10. Kyle Busch finished 3rd. I'm not concerned about that race. I think Kyle Busch could contend for the win there. And then, of course, after that is Bristol. Bristol is one of Kyle Busch's best tracks. I expect him to do well there. And Bristol and Kansas, I think he could do enough. Even if he had a pretty mad race at Darlington, he should be able to get through. Something else that we got to talk about, of course, is Kyle Busch off the track. He has yet to sign a contract for 2023, so the question is, how much will that impact his on-track performance? Will it kind of distract him a bit? Will it, somehow affect the way he performs on track? I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and I think that's something you got to remember to think about. The second round of the playoffs, I think I've said this for the other 2 Toyota drivers we've talked about so far, which is Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell, and that is that this round is tricky for the Toyotas. The first race at Texas, they should be good. Toyota, they've won at a lot of intermediate tracks this year. They've historically been great at Texas, but of course, the only example we have with the next-gen car is the All-Star race. It was a weird format, and, lots of things happened. Kyle Busch was leading, and he had a tire go out, and Ross Chastain decided to use him as a ramp. Well, that's still kind of an unknown, but I do think Toyota will do well, and Kyle Busch, he knows the track well. He's won the old pavement, the new pavement, the old layout, the new layout. He's done really good at Texas before, so I would expect him to do well there again. He qualified on pole, even though it was that, pit stop challenge. He still had to get a top 10 lap to get into that final round. So Kyle Busch, he did look fast in the spring at Texas despite the All-Star race, so I expect him to run well there. It's the next 2 I'm concerned about. Of course, Talladega Superspeedway racing has not been great to Kyle Busch for quite a while now. He finished the Daytona race this past weekend, which is a miracle. He got a top 10. But other than that, he's really struggled on the superspeedways. He usually gets involved in some type of crash. So, if you put together a good enough run, he doesn't have the playoff points. He has to get playoff points because he's so close on the points. He's only got 10. The lowest guy has 5, so it's only a plus 3 or 4 to the cutoff line. So he's going to have to get himself some points just because he's in such a tight points battle. If he doesn't do well at that Texas race, he's going to have to be point racing at Talladega, and he could get caught up in something. Whereas if he has a top 5 run at Texas, gets stage points in both stages, he could be up a good bit, and he could probably hang back at Talladega, watch some of the other competitors crash out, and go on and finish top 15 and survive and get more points than them. So, yeah, Talladega's going to be tough, and then the Roval as well, unfortunately. Toyota has been terrible at the road courses. We've already talked about this with Bell and Hamlin. I don't know why, but Toyota's just bad on the road courses. So Kyle Busch, he's going to have to hope that Texas goes really well, either a win or a top 5. Talladega, he survives, and others get caught up in wrecks, maybe hang at the back all day. And then you're going to have to go to the Roval and just make it, I guess. So If he has enough points, then hopefully he'd be up enough that he wouldn't have to worry about any problems at the Roval or someone getting a win, but you never know with this format. But that round is the most concerning for Kyle Busch. I still think he runs top 5 at Texas. Talladega is a question mark, and so is the Roval, but in order for him to make it out of this round, I think it's going to have to be a top 5 or a win at Texas. Make sure you don't get caught up in anything at Talladega, and the Roval just do enough to get through. That's what I think he's got to do in the second round. Third round is very favorable for him. It's 2 intermediate tracks where Toyota has been great at this season. And, of course, Kyle Busch was fighting for the win. He was leading with 3 to go at Las Vegas in the spring before caution came out. So he looked really good there, led a lot of laps in that race. His teammates looked great there. Truex was fighting him for the win. Christopher Bell was leading some laps at times. Denny Hamlin was leading laps. So Toyota looked really good there in the spring, and Kyle Busch specifically looked really good there. So I think he'll be fighting for the win there. I think that's a very good possibility, and I think he'll be fighting for the win at Homestead as well. If he can get 2 top 5 runs there, he's going to be behind in points, which is a big thing. But, you know, if you see some of those top guys like Logano, Chastain, Larson, Byron, even an Elliott or someone struggle in one of those 2 races, he can make up a lot of points if he runs top 5 in both those races. And then Martinsville. He was one of the 2 Toyotas in the top 10 at Martinsville. He's got a couple of wins there over his career. But it's still a good track for him, despite the not out-of-this-world performance. If he can get 2 top 5s in those first 2 races and a top 10 at Martinsville, I think that would be enough to point his way into the championship 4. Now, obviously, things can change. You know, if the round of 8 consists of guys like Briscoe, Suarez, Cindric, Bowman, some of those guys, and one of them wins one of those tracks, that complicates things a lot because they would be behind the cutoff and then they jump up, and that would push the line lower for Kyle Busch, so he might be in a must-win situation. But I genuinely think Kyle Busch could win Homestead or Vegas, which plays much to his advantage because then, you know, he doesn't have to worry about Martinsville. So I think it's very possible for Kyle Busch to get a win at one of those tracks and advance to the championship 4. As for Phoenix, he got top 10 in the spring. He has a few wins there. The old layout, the new layout, he's done well at Phoenix before. And then as for experience, he's been in maybe the most championship 4s in NASCAR history. He's won more championships in this format than anyone. So Kyle Busch knows what he's doing. He knows how to get it done. I think it is very possible for him to get a second championship. Wouldn't that be something if he ends up leaving JGR, for him to send the last race, the last, I guess, triumph for him and JGR together, they get themselves a championship? That'd be quite the story. So to wrap this thing up, obviously that first round I'm not too concerned about. The second round, it's concerning, but if he can get out of there, I think he has a great shot at the championship 4. You look at Las Vegas and you look at Homestead Miami as 2 potential opportunities to win. So I think he's got a really good shot. If he can make it to that round of 8, he has a really, really good shot at making it to the championship 4. And then as for Phoenix, anything can happen. Leaders can wreck lap 1. He can be the last surviving championship 4 guy. But as I said, you know, he has experience in this format. He knows how to get it done. He knows how to win at Phoenix. He's going to have tough competition, though, that may be better than him in terms of the cars and just how they've been driving, you know, like Larson, Elliott, Logano maybe, some of those guys who could be up there with him. But we'll see how Kyle Busch does, how he fares in these playoffs. And, yeah, his last playoffs with JGR, potentially. Of course, nothing has been confirmed. But we will see where Kyle Busch ends up, and of course how he will do in the playoffs. The schedule still stands that I will do the Chase Briscoe Championship case tonight. Tomorrow I might do 2 if the schedule works out. Just, you know, I think tomorrow is Cindric and Bowman or Suarez and Bowman. I can't remember. But I'll do that tomorrow, those 2, and then Friday I will do 1 in the morning, and then that late afternoon, evening, I will do my full playoff prediction video. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. I got to go print off a playoff bracket at some point and fill it out, and then I will show you guys. So thanks for watching this video. I got a playlist of all these championship cases, so go check that out, and I'll see you in the next one tonight.